get settled in. Good on Vid. Good on Mike. All right, you know the deal, man. MIC Podcast episode 166, where everyone is a master of their own creation. Our guest today not only helps people with their fitness journey over at Solidcore as a coach, she lit the runway on fire. This time last month at this SVVIAA runway show, we have Dominique Toretto in the building. Dominique, what's going on?
Well, that is quite the introduction, honestly. Thank you so
much.
It's
well deserved, and
yeah.
I feel like it's accurate. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much for
of course
having me on. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, we appreciate you coming through. Again, we know you got your hands in a lot of different things. So
deep,
yeah, right. So,
but it's okay. We like it like that.
Absolutely. No, that's really why we do it. It's just to stay busy and stay, working, you know what I mean? So it'll just be really dope to just break down your experiences, V, and just you're proud of that, your career as a coach and just your journey of fitness and all that. So again, thank you for coming through.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Just to kick it off, are you from Pittsburgh originally?
No.
Okay, where are you from?
Central Pennsylvania.
Okay.
About 40 minutes north of Harrisburg in a town called Selinsgrove.
Selinsgrove, yeah. I've never heard about that part of it.
It's like Selinsgrove, Danville, Lewisburg. It's basically dead center on the map.
Okay.
So very small town, very suburban area, large fields.
Yeah, right.
Hunting was the sport.
Okay.
Moved here in 2021.
Okay.
So it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I moved here. Had no plan at all. I didn't even have a job.
Did you spend all of your life there prior to moving to Pittsburgh, or did you live somewhere else for a little bit?
Born and raised.
Okay.
My entire life. Moved out very I would still consider it a young age because I feel like you're still kind of learning at that point.
Yeah.
But one of my girlfriends, Taylor, we went to college together, and she I think she got an internship out here in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So basically she was like, I kind of need a roommate. And I was like, well, I kind of don't want to live I want to get out, I want to see what's out there. So we ended up getting together. I still currently lease the apartment that I'm living at, right across the street.
Okay, word.
So it's my first home away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So now, how was it just adjusting to the new city, the new life when you initially got here?
Honestly, it was very kind of intimidating because I had not really known a life outside of small town, small area. So coming to the big city at the time when I first moved here, I felt Pittsburgh was huge.
Yeah. No, of course, right. I mean, it's your first city that you're really seeing,
First city, I didn't even really have a plan. I was just
right.
Just get to a new location and just kind of figure it out after paying first month's rent, deposit. I know a little bit about that. $700 and a dream.
Yeah.
So
and vibes, right? Yeah, $700 and some vibes.
I had no job. I got a job when I was out here.
What'd you end up working?
I was bartender. I've been a bartender since 2018 or 19.
Yeah.
So really just working the service industry.
Yeah.
My first job was at an Applebee's.
Okay. And shout out to Applebee's, great establishment.
Right, yeah. Shout out to Applebee's. No, it kept me fed for sure.
100%.
But really just learn to use all the skills at every place that I worked at to be able to learn more, because always being open to knowledge is everything's always consistently evolving and consistently changing. And it's just right now I bartend at Tequila Cowboy on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I do Solidcore during the week.
I know that probably gets hectic, man. That fucking tequila, man.
Yeah. There's some characters for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
but,
of course.
The people that I work with, I'm surrounded by so many great people.
Right.
We've really found our group, and everybody there is just. It's beautiful because it's nobody there is under the same umbrella. Everybody has their own
their own
journey
hustle, their
or
own
what they want to do. I work with a hairstylist. I work with someone that sells insurance.
Yeah.
It's all across
they're just trying
the
to
board.
eat. I mean, listen, they're just trying to put food on their table.
The diversity. I like meeting people with a different background or a different story.
Opens up your perspective a little bit.
I kind of look at you and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah, right.
Who are you? Yeah, what's your story?
100%. No, I mean, can you speak to why Tequila Cowboys hip hop pop room, just kind of fell off in recent years.
Well,
do you know what's going on with that? Yeah,
you should come back because it has gotten so much better.
For real? Okay.
For real.
Okay.
So
I've been
better.
back in years for the record. Let me just even
years.
So like
you
I
have
haven't.
to come down.
Okay,
you have to give
word.
it one more shot because
right.
I actually bartend primarily like in that room.
Yeah.
Every now and then it'll be at like a different bar.
Yeah.
Very rare, but that's like my home bar.
I feel that.
So we've definitely gotten a little bit more seasoned.
Okay.
Yeah. The
there we go. Yeah. No. Because I remember, like one of like my first trips out to Pittsburgh, man. Like, I was in my homie Mike. We went to the same school together, college. Mm-hmm. So I'm out just visiting here. Actually, I was filming like a project for a class about him. So I was just like visiting out here. Just like getting footage. And one of the places we went was to Killer Cowboy. Mm-hmm. We have a similar venue in DC where I'm from. It's called Decades, where like each floor is a different.
I've been to Decades.
I haven't like I've been to Decades maybe twice. Like not enough for someone who like lived.
Honestly, same.
Yeah, Yeah. So when I came to Tequila Cowboy, I was like, damn. And like I think at the time I hadn't been in Decades when I went to Tequila Cowboy. Yeah, so like I like first off the mechanical bull off the intro is like, oh shit, yeah, right.
We had to get rid of that because
you're lying. Wait, no,
they got rid of that during COVID.
For real?
That's the word that I was told that. COVID, kind of came and changed some things. There used to be like a shot chair or something in there as well.
Yeah.
That they did away with, and I think over time they realized that the hassle of also like running it and setting it up, but they also want the space and want people to like be able to like walk around. You don't want to be squished, rubbing elbows up against people.
I guess, right.
But I've always said, like, bring it back. Like, bring it
back.
Gotta
bring that
like
bull
once
back,
a month.
son.
Like, bring it back once a month.
Or yeah, that's a good point too. Like, make it like a night.
Like a nice little attraction, something different.
100%.
Like you said, like it definitely falls into like a category of things just always repeating. But a nice little switch up is good.
100%.
For sure.
No, and like I even feel like your just time in bartending, just like the service industry, like I think that anyone who works those types of jobs could do whatever. Like they could throw you in any job setting for real, and like I don't think you'll see anything you haven't seen before just by nature of like the work
you're
you do.
Essentially in a sense running your own business
type
because
lives,
you're
living off, or let's like working for tips,
working for tips, you're processing transactions, you're handling money,
customer service,
making drinks. Like there's so much more that goes into it, but it's really about, I think, the communication and the connection part, which is where I like kind of found I would say kind of like a relevance with just like coaching and like the fitness world.
I was
raised like from very, very young. Like I was never athletic. I was always in chorus.
Who the fuck are you telling?
I was always picked class for dodgeball.
Yeah.
Was never on any team, and so like group exercises are kind of a hot topic right now, and they're becoming a little bit more popular.
Hot topic, well, like as far as like controversial, or just like
no,
people
just like hot topic.
I was about to say
hot topic
like
in the sense of like it's spreading.
Yeah,
it's
right.
gaining popularity.
I agree.
And
No,
more people are
for
doing
sure.
it.
I thought people had issues with that. I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? People got issues with group fitness?
I feel like it got at one point. It just kind of got like such a bad stigma in a sense.
What
like,
you think?
I feel like people just think too much into it. Like I always tell everybody that's coming in that's new, I'm like, anything you thought you knew before, forget it. Like a white eraser board, clean the slate. Just kind of be open to it. It's definitely a very different experience. I also did try hot yoga. The beginning of May, I was doing like this little like trial. So I was like doing like probably about 6 to 8 classes over a 12-day period, and I really like enjoyed that. So it's just like switching up the environment, but also making connections with people in it as well, because it's very easy to fall off.
Yeah, no, of course.
Very easy to like fall behind.
Yeah,
or
and
just like lose momentum.
Right. No, 100%. Like it just even kind of leads me to my next question. Like, when did you first like start forming a relationship with like your health and fitness, or just like kind of wanting to get that on that track?
The military.
Oh, what? You was in the military?
4 years.
For real? What branch, or like
Navy.
what?
Navy.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. The just like overall what's it called? The whole basic training process.
Right.
Nobody could have prepared me for.
I mean, isn't Navy training like one of the hardest? Like, cause like, and correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but like, isn't I hear Marines is like dumb, stupid hard, and then like Navy's like kind of in that same ballpark.
Yeah.
Oh, you said they're your children.
Yeah, for the yeah. Each one's different.
Yeah, right, for sure.
For sure. I think it also depends on everybody's own experience.
Sure.
I just kind of got in there, and you get off the bus, and it's like everybody's just yelling at you. There's no time to even think. You have to properly respond in a timely manner, or like you just continue to get yelled at. So like we got off the bus the first night. This is like 11:30 at night. Immediately we're just getting yelled at. Like people are just screaming at us, line up, do this, do that. The first like 2 nights is like all like intake. So like they get you clothes, they get your sizes for like clothing, shoes, and like all that. Get you settled in. You're basically put in a large group. It could be anywhere from, I'd say, 75 to 120 people. Now, half that's going to be girls, half that's going to be boys. And then after like your intake processing is done, usually like after the 3rd day, you get to meet your RDCs, which are called Recruit Division Commanders. Basically, they're your teachers for the entire time that you're there. They're there with you from the start until you finish, till you graduate. How it works is that over a series of weeks, so I was there for 8 weeks. So I was there December 11th to like February 8th. I graduated in 2020.
Hell of a year to graduate.
It was so weird. It was so, like the experience itself, like seeing people not, responding as quickly as they want to, or like messing certain things up, because it's all about precision. It's all about attention to detail. So if you can't button this shirt all the way up in less than a certain amount of seconds, how is somebody supposed to, basically trust you with their life if you need to perform like a quick movement? Over the series of weeks, like I've seen people cry, throw up, pass out, get beat, not physically. They don't touch you physically, but they will force you to physically work out. So you mess up on something, you call, somebody of a higher rank, a petty officer, like you're basically getting beat. They'll beat everybody. It's physically, I didn't really have that much of a problem with it. It was all mental, because when you get there, you have to, everything you came there with, you have to ship it back. Like you're not allowed to keep anything. Army's different. Army will let you have like your phone like an hour a day. On certain days. I forget what like the regulations are. I'm sure they've changed since I've been in. But it's no communication. Letters are your only source of communication. And while I was there, I only received probably about 6 or less letters, because the mailing system is very like, can be crazy. Like you could get a letter that was supposed to come to you 4 weeks ago on the, the last week that you're there. So it's like everybody's just kind of looking around at each other, and you're in this big room, and it's just like bunk beds lined up together. And you have to like live in these compartments that they call them. You all share a shower. Every day you have, I think it was like 1 shower time. You got less than 8 minutes to do everything. Sleeping, you're lucky to be in bed by 10 o'clock. You got to be up by 4. Meals are always calculated. Everything is whole food, no junk. I think I was like 155 when I went in. When I came out, I was 130.
Jesus,
yeah. And over a span of 8 weeks.
Jesus,
not to mention like
nuts.
Physical tests during the entire time. You have to be able to run a half a mile under your sex and your age. So I think I had to run it under 14 minutes and 30 seconds. I ended up running it in, I think, 9 minutes and 45 seconds.
There you go.
You have to do a certain amount of sit-ups. It's very demanding, and if at any point in time you fail anything, you get rolled back. So if I'm in week 6 and I fail something, they're gonna make me redo week 6, but you don't stay with the group that you were with that in those entire 6 weeks. You get put back in a new division. You don't know anybody.
No way.
It was very challenging for me because I had actually lost a grandfather when I was there. They pulled me in a separate room. The Red Cross came to like deliver that message to me that your grandfather's passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
You have the opportunity to take a flight home. They were going to pay for it to send me home. I could attend the funeral and come back, but there was not a guarantee that if I come back, I'd be at the same place that I was. And I was less than 2 weeks away from graduating. So after talking with my parents, we decided that I was just going to stay there because he was also, he'd also served in the Army. He fought in World War II. So I, at that point in time, it's just a lot to deal with, mentally. You don't know what anybody else is going on with. Like, there was a young man there that had young children, or a young child. His girlfriend had just given birth. And he was the kind of guy where, like, he would always goof around, you know. Sometimes you can never take him seriously.
Right.
The RDCs would always love to pick on him. And at one time, I guess he just got under one's skin, and they beat him basically so bad to the point that he started crying and, was like trying to get into his head mentally and like break him down because they're trying to see like how much pressure can you take. So it's like real everyday life stuff that's going on there behind the scenes. And when you graduate, it's just like the most refreshing feeling. So like I had no choice. I had to pass physically, never running fast at all. So I was just proud of myself how much I accomplished in such a short amount of time. I was just like, I just need to get this done. I need to get out of here.
The fact that you even survived and made it through all that shit. I mean, like, not even going back, to see your grandfather. That was, I can't imagine what that was like for you. You know what I mean? Like, that was probably super fucking tough. But
I think in a way, it just kind of gave me more strength.
Just kind of forced
because
you a
him
bit.
And I had our own relationship prior, and it was something that, he dedicated part of his life to. I was doing the same. So I feel like in a way I wanted to stay and see it through to like pay homage, to
Of course,
him.
right.
I just remember this one time I had to march my entire unit to a certain building, and this was the very next day after I got the news, and they played colors at a certain time. When the sun rises, they raise the American flag. Everybody on base has to stop, like turn, salute. And I just remember like leading like that group, and I just remember getting like tears in my eyes because I felt like, that was him kind of being like, come on, like, let's do this. You only got 2 weeks left. Everything that you learn in that 8 weeks gets put to the test. You stay up for over 24 hours. I can't talk too much about it because I did sign a page 13.
Right.
But basically everything you learn gets put to the test. Everybody in the division gets divided into smaller groups. You all have to work together. You go through different sections.
Right.
By the end, it's like 4 a.m. They do this whole ceremony. Congratulations. Like, you passed.
Right.
And it's like, you have to still stay up. You get a shower. You go get breakfast. Then you come back. You don't even sleep you don't sleep that day. You're up for almost like 2 days.
Jesus.
It's very crazy. Then everybody gets, shipped out to where they need to be. I was in Mississippi, Gulfport, Mississippi.
Yeah, damn. That was probably pretty much bumfuck Mississippi, right? Like,
yeah. But there was a beach, so I'm always going to the beach.
Oh shit! All right, word.
Yeah,
there you
always
go.
go with the beach.
Okay.
Stayed there. Had to go through job training. So I was a builder, so I learned to construct homes from the ground up. It's nothing that.
Yo, who is Dominique? Son? Who is Dominique Toretto, son? What? That's insane, dog.
Builder 8 school out of Gulfport, Mississippi. I basically learned how to build a house from the ground up, but it was nothing that I wasn't really unfamiliar with because my dad was in construction and carpentry. So I basically grew up watching him, paint walls, drywall, roofing, brick, all that. I kind of already knew.
That's insane.
It was really the math that was just the most challenging part. So, and then after that school, it was all done. It was wrapped up. I got to go home, and I was like, oh God, like I really did that.
Yo.
So it's crazy to just think about. But even in the military, like people prioritize health so much. You get quarterly physical fitness tests. Like you have to pass. Like there's just no excuse for it. You just have to do it.
Right. Was your grandfather like a big reason why you just had to join the Navy?
I would say it was definitely part of the influence. There was a time where I basically was trying to put myself through school, and I remember I couldn't get a loan out. So, having a conversation with my parents, they were pretty much like, if you want to keep going to school, you should consider this, because at the time I was a criminal justice poli-sci major.
Okay. Where'd you study?
I went to Bloomsburg University for 3 years.
Okay.
2016 to 2.5, I think. 2016 to the end of 2018. So that was a whole different experience as well. But still being able to be surrounded by people from different, cultures and background and ethnicities. I feel like growing up in such a small town,
right? You don't see
didn't really have
diversity.
that to the I didn't really have that to the advantage to be able to learn from other people.
Yeah, no, definitely. And just even so, when you decide to kind of revamp your health and fitness journey, what improvement did you see first? Was it physical? Was it mental?
Mental.
That made
mental.
you keep going. Mental.
Because here's the thing: I can physically move things, and I feel like physically it's really not the hardest part. The hardest part is not even staying motivated, but staying disciplined. Because you can stay disciplined and have zero motivation.
Right.
So discipline over motivation always. Mental, it's always been a mental game for me. Mood just depends on what's going on in my life. If there's certain family things that are going on, or just sort of some issue that I'm just dealing with, sometimes can throw me off. It just depends on the situation. But it's it really has to turn into some sort of organized lifestyle. Because I just don't really, for me personally, I don't see it working out any other way.
Right.
You have to make it routine.
Right.
I was just talking to my friend Morgan about this the other day. If it's not routine, you have to make it routine. So certain different ways of changing things, where when I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast, she was saying, I always used to struggle getting up out of bed. And I'm like, okay, me same, every single day. So she's like, you know what? I started putting my phone in my bathroom and turning the alarm on. So I'd physically have to get up from the bed, turn the alarm off, she said, and from there I would, splash my face with cold water, wake up, and just keep moving forward on the day. So that's something that I've put in my routine.
Definitely.
Because I'm definitely a night owl. Definitely, just because I work late nights bartending. So during the week, I can sometimes be up 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Just depends.
Yeah. No, I think people don't really talk about the necessity of that, having to, pretty much just change your lifestyle. And I know that it sounds drastic, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. You can take the steps, and you can look back in a month and be like, oh shit,
I think people normally think that it's just this huge
overnight,
big major change.
Right.
Well, it is, but it's also, little things add up. Moving the phone to a different
compound
place.
effect.
Doing a task every morning, reading a chapter of a book every day, whatever, is something that you want to change or make different.
Right.
And over time, that just kind of becomes habit, where I'm always on the go. I'll grab a breakfast sandwich at Kelly O's any day, but it's all right, dial it back, go to like making your breakfast, because it's still that time with myself where, you know, I'm still exercising parts of like my mental and like not like so much forcing myself to do it, but reminding myself that this is what I want to be doing.
Right.
This is a healthier way to do this.
Right.
So just stick with this. Stick with this.
Yeah. What made you initially get involved with the Solidcore?
Okay, so I was friends with a girl at the time, Lauren, and she was taking a few Solidcore classes. She was like, you need to come with me. You need to come try out this like workout routine. And I was like, okay. So I think I went either with her or I went the same day at just like a different class. Ended up walking in. I was so nervous. Like, I can't even tell you how nervous I was.
For real.
I was just kind of like looking around and I'm like, all right, like just do what everybody else is doing. So I'm like, all right, like I'll put this here. I'll sit on this, like just waiting for somebody to walk in. And at the time I met Chloe, and Chloe is basically like my manager at Solidcore. I was taking classes with her for the longest time. And I think I just found so much enjoyment in it, knowing that I don't feel like anybody's looking at me. I don't feel intimidated, like how sometimes, like when I walk in a gym, there's just a lot of people everywhere doing whatever. Everybody's on the same page here.
Niggas
we're all
just go
here
to
for
the gym
same
and
reason.
grunt like,
yeah, we're all
that's
here
all
for the
you
same
hear.
reason.
Like, right.
I like the idea of walking in, 50-minute workout. Okay,
Right.
music already picked for me. Got it. What muscle group? Different every day.
Yeah.
So what muscle group was it? I just liked being told what to do and being pushed, and more so motivated.
Yeah, right.
So that in itself, that experience just changed my overall opinion on like group workouts, because I had used to have a membership here at Union Fitness, and I remember I did like a HIIT class with like power cleans and like moving heavy weights and stuff like that. And I liked it, but it wasn't really my thing. I couldn't do that consistently. And there was a point in time for probably like over a year, I was going to Solidcore every single day straight. Like I did not miss a day.
Yeah.
Like I almost have 500 classes. I started in July of 22.
Okay.
So it's coming up on 3 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to you for that. Congrats on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, shout out to everybody else for motivating me.
Yeah.
And like, I guess, we kind of just take each other's energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice feeling walking out, knowing I got my workout done. I don't have to worry about anything else the rest of the day.
What was that like first session like for you? Like how you feeling after that first session?
I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I just remember kind of like peeking to the left, peeking to the right.
Is it bikes or like is it just like different shit? Like
so
I'm not sure.
Solidcore, it's a 50-minute full body workout, strength training.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's body weight movements.
Okay.
At a very, very slow pace. So we want to be able to target slow twitch muscle fibers to basically get you to shake. So like in certain exercises, like if I'm doing a tricep extension, we want to do it so slow and so like intentional to the point where your arms are literally shaking by the time you drop those cables.
Right.
Everybody moves at their own pace. 25 classes and under get their own spring loads. So do 25 to 50 and 50 plus. After 50 plus,
get their own what? I'm sorry.
Like certain classes. So if I have like 14 classes, I'm putting the spring load on for under 25. When I take my 26 class, I put more weight on. So I'm pulling more tension.
Okay.
So as I progress in classes, I'm also progressing by upping my weight and basically getting stronger.
Yeah. Right.
After 50, you could pretty much do like whatever. There's this one girl that comes in. She's got like ankle weights and she puts dumbbells on her carriage and she's got like 2 white springs and a gray on for center core, and she's like the tiniest little thing, and I'm just looking at her, I'm like,
moving shit though. Yeah. She's moving
and it's crazy. Once you get like each exercise pretty much has like a modified version, but like if I'm doing a plank crunch, like I can get on my hands and my toes and everybody just looks at me like I'm crazy. But it's kind of a thrill being up there. It's if you just want a little bit more, you just go and take it.
Yeah.
Like, go after it.
Yeah. And you even like we're kind of talking about some of the elements like you like, but what drew you in to be like, I'm going to come back the next day to this? Like, this is like where I'm at.
I would say comfortability, the energy. It was very motivating.
Yeah.
It almost to the point became addicting, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely became addicted. Just loved the 7 a.m. classes, go on with the rest of your day, whatever you want to do. Just knowing that, because it's like so different when you go to the gym. It's like, all right, what am I wearing?
Yeah.
Let's make a playlist.
Right,
I got to be in the right mood. Like, what am I hitting today?
Yeah.
Like, everything here is just laid out for you.
Yeah.
You just got to show up.
Don't got to think
do the
about
work.
it. Yeah, right. There you go.
And some people, like a lot of nurses, will take early morning classes and will go to the hospital and work a shift.
Yeah.
So
which is,
I think it's so suitable for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in their own lifestyle. There's always been some people that think that it's for certain people and it's not. It's for everybody.
Yeah. So about a year and some change ago now, right? You became a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats on
that. March 27th. So a year and change.
Yeah, for sure. No, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
That's super
yes.
dope. Do you want to talk about just like the transition from being a client of Solidcore to now a coach, and how that's been for you?
I could honestly kind of compare it to like going through like the military.
Yeah,
when I was trying to like get my stuff together like for that. Basically, I knew all the exercises. I knew how to do them.
Right.
It's broken down into like its own little, how do I describe it? So like if I'm doing like an exercise and we're moving on to like the next thing, they always let you know enough time in advance. They'll be like, in 15 seconds, plank crunch. In 12 seconds, elbows on the black, knees line 1. 8 seconds, bend knees. In 5 seconds, plank crunch. 3, 2, 1. So there's always like a transition formula between every exercise. And then the entire time the class is going on, you are speaking. Like I speak straight for 50 minutes. I never stop talking. I yap the entire time.
Was that your first time public speaking at all? Or like speaking in front of people? That's crazy. Okay.
Not even in college. I like absolutely refused. I just,
right.
I get like
most
my hands,
people do for real.
Like even sitting here, like my hands are sweaty. But it was like kind of, you do it the first time, rip it off. It's like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, sure, right.
Every time gets a little easier.
Yep.
Now I walk in, I throw the headset on. I'm like, what's up?
Now you walk in. Yo, what the
handlebars.
fuck is good? Yeah.
Literally. Like, are you ready for this? No, you're
right.
It's just so funny. It's now that, it's like a little puzzle piece. Like I said, everything is always consistently evolving. There's always something new to learn. That's the beauty about just like working out and stuff like that. There's just always something to like learn.
Yeah.
For like ever. I feel like to this day I'm still learning new things.
Do you ever think that you'd become a coach at Solidcore, like when you were just going as a client?
If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be a coach at Solidcore and I'd be like into fitness, I would have literally said you're lying. Like I would have been like you're not. No, it's like I can't. Because I feel like everybody just changes so much, even on just like a year-to-year basis.
Yeah, right.
10 years ago, what was that? 2015, I was just graduating high school.
Right, yeah.
Like I said, pick lats for dodgeball. Was never like physical. I liked singing and just theater and stuff like that. So to see how much like my hobbies have like changed is honestly kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because I remember back to being not really having that kind of like relationship with the gym, but like also like learning to have a proper relationship with food as well. Like they go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, right? Yeah, exactly. Which makes sense. Like, and what do you even have to do to become a coach? Like, do you like have to take a certain number of classes? Do you have to? What's the criteria?
So basically, I'm pretty sure that anybody can like apply. I feel like if you're someone that has like certain certifications, or if you've like competed in bodybuilding, it might put you just a little bit higher up on the totem pole. But
makes sense.
if you're a client that has over 100 classes and you make this a consistent daily activity in your everyday life, and you're passionate about it and you love what you do and you love to be surrounded by people and just be able to be around people and inspire each other to like be better.
Right.
Like, why couldn't you be a coach? So I feel like it was just kind of like a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. How long was it till you heard back after you applied?
So I think I put my first application in September of, I want to say, was it 23?
Okay.
They had a hiring round in the fall.
Okay.
But I remember that they were really primarily hiring for either really early morning or really, really late. And I was more of like a midday girly.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a call back for that round. I think it was February or March. I remember getting a text message and it was like a question about like, could you do like an April training? And I'm like, well, hell yeah, that's my birth month. Like, like I'm ready for this.
Oh, when's your birthday?
April 5th.
Okay, 5th. Okay,
yeah.
Word. Happy belated. I know you know your birthday. Yeah, for sure.
So it's just, I was like, all right, like I'll do, I'm gonna do it. So I remember I got like this Zoom kind of like invitation. I had the meeting. We got off the phone. That very next morning, I got basically like a contract. As soon as I signed it, I was hired. And then the training started on my birthday that year.
Okay.
On my birthday that year. So it was, I always say it was like the greatest, it was the greatest birthday present.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, like, we're like a month apart. My birthday's May 3rd, so like I was literally born like a month and some change.
Right.
After
Okay.
yeah,
So you're Taurus.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
But I was even just even kind of talking here, like, what would you say, like, after a year in at this point, that coaching has taught you?
Patience.
Mm.
Not everybody, and I say this to everybody in my starter classes. Not everybody learns the same day or in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
For people that come in and take a regular class for their first time, 9 times out of 10 at the end will look at you like literally today I had a client in class who actually, me personally, I was like, is this your first class? Because she just picked it up so quickly.
Yeah.
But there are just like, other people that need things like explained more in depth or to be shown something, because some people you can tell them and they learn. Some people you have to show them. They don't know.
I need a lot of
they
pictures.
Need to visually see.
Yeah, I need pictures and explanations.
Yeah,
like, what about doing?
They need a map. They need to see what's going on. So I always love coaching a starter class because it's new faces. It always kind of reminds you that, there's always a certain way to learn. Okay, like for this exercise, how can I explain this better? And I always like improve my description of exercises, because the entire time you're doing it, I'm describing what you need to be doing. So all you need to do is listen to me and just physically like apply that to the exercise.
Not to even cut you off, but I even think that a good teacher can explain something, to a T, so someone can follow it. You know what I mean? So like it's not necessarily, because like it's very much a two-way street. You know what I mean? Like the communication has to be great, but it's not necessarily on the person who you're trying to teach. If they don't pick it up, like you just could be relaying the information wrong. Like there's like it's a fine line,
because you just never know what people are walking in with.
Exactly. Yep.
And I always tell them, like, I always sometimes pick like a random quote at the beginning of class, and I'll like read it to them before we get started. And I'm like, hey, I think it's fair to say, I don't know you too much. You don't know me. You don't know your neighbor, regardless of whatever you're coming in with, because it could be a good day for some people. It could be a really bad day.
Yeah, right, of course.
Want you to leave out of here feeling, better than when you first walked in. So if there's anything that I can do, whether it's make a great playlist, write a great sequence, give you motivation, push you to make you feel better, then for me, like, I get gratification out of that. Like, I like to make people feel like good about themselves, because I know what it's like to sit there and look in a mirror and just kind of like judge yourself or pick certain things apart. Nowadays, it's insane on the internet. I feel it's progressively gotten worse with just people being mean or nasty, or, making comments about people, or having like spam accounts, and we'll just like write a nasty comment or someone's post. When you see people trying, it's like
that's different.
You judge them for not trying.
Yeah.
They try, you still judge them.
Yeah.
Where's the logic?
Yeah, right. And, shout out to ASAP Rocky. He had a quote. I fuck with these, like, like, since when was it not cool to try?
For sure.
Like, when the fuck did that happen?
For
like,
sure.
When did that
because
get
9
cool?
times out of 10, who was ever writing that comment is at home sitting on their couch.
Fucking, just on their couch or laying on their stomach, feet in the air, like let me just type some shit.
Social influence, social influencers have definitely gained momentum. I would say at least even over the last like 2 to 3 years. There's multiple girls that I follow that I take a lot of, I learn a lot from. Like, I see them posting their routines or their workouts. Like, I'm somebody, like, I'm visual. I like to see things. That's how I learn, with like a side of verbal explanation. But like, when you show me, like, when I see it for myself, I see it with my own eyes. It does something different inside of me than like, oh, well, you said you were going to go to the gym yesterday. You better go to,
I agree. No, I know. I'm that same way. Like, if I see something, because like all the explanations in the world is like, all right, you know what I mean? Whatever, like, not whatever, but it's like, all right, like, you can explain something to me to death, but it's like, I just got to see that shit, bro. And be like, all right, word. Like, let me see if I could put two and two together and, make this shake. And then, like, I figure it out from there as far as competency level, like what I need to work on, you know what I mean? Like, things of that nature. But I mean, no, I totally feel you in that regard.
Yeah. I think it's for someone that, lives a life where they don't work out as often as they like to, when they take that step to like be able to do it. most of the time they're watching somebody on TikTok, or they're finding they're watching something, they're mimicking something. They might do the same, you know, back and bicep exercise that they saw like Cranon do. So it's just, there's girls that I really look up to over the years. I've watched them like hit their goals, and it's just like kind of inspiring.
Right.
But it's also very negative to the point where there is like this plague of women who will go and do enhancements to their body.
I was literally
Please do.
about to ask you about this whole fitness influencer wave. So yeah, please give me your take on some of the women who, you know, get the enhancements, they get the BBL, and then come back and start doing curls like they've been doing all that for years to get where they've gotten. Like, please.
Yeah. The only disclaimer, I don't give a shit.
Right.
If you get this or that.
Right.
You want a BBL, go do it.
Right.
You want a tummy tuck, do it.
But don't try to flip it. Yeah, right.
I don't care. Where I feel it draws a line is when you hide the secret.
That's what I'm saying.
Of going and getting a BBL.
Right.
You come back, you start making this content, and you're posting these videos, workout videos.
Yep.
Hey, buy my program.
Yeah, right.
It's $80. You can look just like me.
Right.
And it's like, it's very negative to the point where you don't have respect. You won't even give them the truth.
Right.
That you've had it done and you're profiting off of it.
Yep.
So it's there's this guy on TikTok, actually. His name is Jackson Johnson. He has over 1 million followers. He gets tagged in certain girls' workout videos. He basically stitches it, and he gives his feedback if he thinks that their, you know, routine is good, if he thinks they're doing the exercises correctly, if he thinks that they have a BBL or not. Because it's gotten so crazy to the point where, like I said before, it's literally a plague.
Yeah.
So it's if
facts.
all this is out there where it's just not genuine and, you know, like not truthful, then how is someone going to be able to know like what's real versus what's not?
I was even going to say, like, how do you...
If you want to get a BBL and be consistent with your workout routine, that is absolutely okay,
right,
as you should. You
preface it with the fact that...
You need to work out to keep up with
right,
it.
Yeah.
But be honest with people.
Have to.
Because if you're sitting here taking my money, tell me that I'm going to look just like you.
Right.
No.
It's like, because, and like fitness is like even trickier to that effect too, because like it's genetics. It's, you know, it's just so much other shit where it's like, if you're even pitching that, yeah, you could look just like me. It's like, that's not necessarily true. Like you have to get healthy and, you know, to whatever fitness level you want by your own standards. Like what works for you. Like you have to figure out what that looks like for you. Like
for sure.
if you have like smaller legs, like you can, you know, probably only build them up to like a certain point, and like that's not your fault.
Yeah.
You know, like that could just be like you can throw however many plates you want, you know, protein this up for sure if you're, you know, going naturally. Like I know there's, you know, obviously stuff that you can do to enhance that if you do hit that wall, but if you're just going for like a health fitness standpoint and like, you know, you're trying to build your legs up and like you're working legs, like they only get to a certain point and you switch it up and you've done this. It just comes down to like what your body is able to do.
Everybody is different.
Right. Fact.
Everybody. Like there's a girlfriend of mine. We were going to the gym. She was also like doing Solidcore classes here and there. She recently just joined a gym. I forget the name of it, but it's over in East Liberty. It's actually blackened. If you know what I'm talking about, it's on.
No,
like
I know.
Can't remember.
Yo, funny enough, ironically, that was one of the first gyms I tried going to when I first moved here, bro.
Really?
I swear. I fucking forget the name, man. But I follow bro on Instagram, man. Bald dude with the beard.
I feel like you're right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Facts.
So she went,
I'm sorry, you bro. Completely sorry. You know, we forget the name of the gym, but like I know what you're talking about, though.
For sure. And she just recently, I think maybe it was like 2 to like 3 months ago. I would say it's more like HIIT-based style workout. So I went with her. I think it was like on a Tuesday or Thursday, and we were doing like bent over barbell rows. We were doing like push-ups. We were doing ab work, and it was like, you had to, you know, do certain exercises for a certain amount of minutes. You break for like 2 minutes. You go back in. You do like 3 rounds. She's, you know, tried a few different things, tried the gym, tried Pilates, and I think this is her thing because she's now lost over 12 pounds.
Wow,
so it's like some things might just not work. Maybe the gym isn't where you should be right now. Maybe it's Pilates. Maybe it's hot yoga. Maybe it's like more HIIT style workout.
Right.
It just depends because everybody's genetics, everybody's hormones, and, you know, just like metabolism is so different.
You're right. Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
people can like be vegan or just have different diets. So, you know, I always say what works for one person isn't going to work for the other person.
100%.
You can't just like do that. You got to figure out your style
100%.
and kind of form it to that.
And even to that point, so like I feel like it's easier if you've been following someone for a while and like they just pop up as a fitness influencer and they're just like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? So, but like, how can you tell if someone is a genuine fitness influencer and like, you know, they're doing the work and they're putting the work in versus someone, you know, else?
If I'm over everything, I honor genuine.
Sure.
So if I can watch a video and I feel like you're very genuine,
I feel like that's everybody though. Like people connect with you.
There's this one girl, her name's Olivia. She's in Pittsburgh. She is like so awesome. Like she's watching this right now. Like just want to give her a shout out because I've followed her for a while now. Her videos have gotten so good. She's actually in prep. She's getting ready to like bodybuild.
Wow.
She makes videos showing like her entire day, her weighing out her meals, her going to the gym, her doing this, her doing that. It's easier for me to see that and know like you really do this.
Yeah, right.
Whereas if I go on a random fitness influencer's page and all I see are just pictures.
Yeah, like, right. Yeah,
I don't really see like the nitty gritty. Like show me like
it's a good sign. Take notes. Yeah, there you go.
Show besides just like workouts and like photos, I look for client progress pics, client feedback. I do actually really applaud the brand Gymshark because there's just so much.
No, Gymshark for sure.
Just seems so inclusive. There's so many different people, different body types and ethnicities and cultural backgrounds. Like I'm a big fan of Cranon. I'm a big friend of Annalise. Diana Conforti has amazing ab routines. It's one of those things where it's like it could be 50-50. You might think that it's genuine, but it's really not. I've been fooled before.
Or it could be the Liver King. You know, like you don't know what you get.
I always like scroll down and I'm like, where's the progress? Show me the progress.
Yeah, right.
Certain things that I see, you're showing me insights into your everyday life.
Exactly.
You genuinely care about it.
Yeah, no. I think, I'm right there with you. Like, I think just like for content across the board, people connect with, people being genuine. You feel me? So
for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. But switching up to another career line, which I think, you kind of got the water in front of you for, modeling. Did you ever think that you would get into modeling or like become a model on any level? Like,
no, no, not at all. I feel like I'm always the friend where I like to be behind the camera.
Yeah.
When I go out for a girls' night and I got like two of my girlfriends with me and we're taking photos, like I love to be behind the camera. I'm like, okay, do this, do that, put this arm here. Like I'm a big picture person.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of photos of like my childhood and like stuff growing up, so I love to capture every memory possible. So my boyfriend would probably say that. Every memory possible. But no, modeling, no. Never thought that because I've just always been someone who's so picky with just how I think I look, but how I actually look. Like I deal with body dysmorphia. When I was very young, I struggled with eating disorders. I was never really knowledgeable on nutrition as well as also portion sizes. Like my dad,
you can't tell me
working in
portions,
construction would eat 2 plates a night, and I thought that was normal. Also, just like growing up and being a young woman and like learning your body and knowing that where you are now isn't where you want to be. Right. Learning to, give yourself some grace where like, I wish I could just go back and tell my younger self, like, you're not going to be like this forever. If you know that your entire life, it's always going to be consistently evolving, whether that's your physical health, your mental health, there's always going to be something different, something there.
Right.
just it's you got to get up and roll with the punches.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, like just even to like your point about portion, you couldn't tell me shit about no portions when I was younger, son. I would just eat till I was dizzy, like
yeah,
until I felt funny, like
swear.
I'm
I
like,
remember
okay,
it just like
I'm done now, like.
I remember I looked. I was probably like I was with my boyfriend for like over a year,
Yeah.
but I remember at one point I like looked in the mirror and I was like, "You didn't tell me I got this thick or this whatever," and he was like, "You know, you look great, like blah blah blah. If you feel that you want to change something or you want to lose this or that, you know, do it." He was always very supportive in that way. I think. And even just like such a stigma on like the scale, that does not even matter. Okay, because I could be 170 pounds and look like 157, 160, and be happy with that. I think like at my heaviest ever, I was weighing in about 179. I lost weight when I was going through like my addiction to Solidcore. I was going every day. I dropped down to about 150. Realized very quickly that I didn't like being 150 because my entire life I was always more curvier, was never really thin. I got picked on it a little bit in high school because of my build, and now I would say I'm probably sitting around like 165. I don't really ever have a set goal. I never have that in mind. I go off of
just
feeling it, but also looking in the mirror. Do I like how I look?
Right.
Because I can like how I look at 165.
Right.
And be fine with it.
Right.
You know? It's just, I guess it really just depends. Each person's different, like we said.
I was about to say, yeah, like I think for me personally, it's like the scale is still playing a part for me. I haven't weighed myself in years, you know, but like I'm curious to weigh myself, just like, you know, see what, you know, where I'm at right now, you know what I mean? But it's just, you know, even prior to this conversation, I was always like, I wonder what that number is, like, you know, like maybe like a part of it was like I was low key free to see what that number was, you know, like at certain points, you feel me? But
yeah, I used to literally obsess over it, like to the point where I would like gain a pound and I would literally be crying. I remember
just clear your desk off like
not literally knowing anything about nutrition. I remember like back when I was living at home with my parents when I was younger, I wasn't eating more than like 1,200 calories a day, which is actually backwards. So if you want to gain muscle, you need to be eating a lot because your body needs to process. The muscles need to repair, grow, build. So, you know, these no carb,
I've been there. No, I've been there.
You need carbs. People don't understand that. People think that carbs are bad for you, but that's actually like where your body gets a lot of energy from.
100%.
So if you don't have carbs, you don't have energy. How are you going to do your workout?
Definitely.
So it needs to be like an organic transition through and through.
So like what drew you to SVIA initially?
What was that?
What drew to SVIA initially? Like you know, in order to want to participate.
Cat,
fair
for
enough.
Sure.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Cat for sure. Always, I would say always. I always love supporting women in business, and I always love supporting small businesses.
Sure, yeah.
I've always been that way. When I noticed, I'm like, all right, there's this girl around my age.
You didn't know her before prior to? Or okay, wow, okay.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
We had mutuals.
Yeah.
We had never really like hung out more so like beforehand. We just kind of connected off of that. I remember she had posted, I'm doing the runway show. Here's like an application. You know, it was like a Google Doc, bunch of questions, fill it out. And at this point, I think I was like a glass and a half of wine in, and I was feeling really brave. And I was like,
a little risky.
I was like, you know what? Screw it. So I like filled the whole thing out.
There you go.
Tossed the phone to the side, went to bed that night. Like 2 weeks later, I remember getting this email and like this message on Instagram, like, congratulations, you've been selected for the SVIAA runway show. And I was just kind of like, oh shit.
I did that. This is real.
I did that. But I love her as a person.
I mean, come on, right?
She's the sweetest girl. She's so smart. She's so intelligent. She works so hard.
Yeah, man. She gets to it.
Boss woman.
She gets to it.
I just love that she includes everybody.
Right.
I love, because like I hate seeing people not happy with themselves and kind of where it's like at a point where it's like you're on the outside looking in, she opened that door and created something that was bigger than herself to bring a bunch of women together, because the only way that you can truly fight any type of negative, you know, judgment or backlash, whether it's on the internet or it's in person, is putting a stop to it and basically being like, you know, everybody is welcome. Everybody is their own person with feelings. We need to have more empathy. We need to be more supportive. And I just, like, obviously, you know, being a woman, like, I'm just a girl's girl. So I just wanted to be a part of that because I knew from the beginning that it was very special.
Yeah, 100%. So, like, how was your first experience modeling? Like, was it anything that you thought it would be like? Like, was it natural for you? Was it totally adverse to what you would even think about?
Yeah, I would say leading up to it, like getting to like hair and makeup, going through that whole process, getting to the event, like it didn't really hit me until I walked in to the venue, and I was like, oh my God. Big breath. We were like all like huddled in this back room. We lined up. We did like a couple walkthroughs at the very end. We had to me and Shatara had to do what was called basically the big finale, right? So I walk down, I come back, she walks down, she turns around, I'm there when she turns around. We meet halfway because we had to do like the painting from my
right, which was so that was so fire, bro. That was dope.
Like,
that was
dope. My heart was beating out of my chest.
Yeah,
I would say I probably blacked out.
Oh, I mean,
I remember I got about halfway down, and right when I did the kiss with the hands, I was like, I don't remember anything. I just remember look at Kat, and she's sitting there, and she's just like,
no,
this, and I'm like, I love you.
Yeah.
Turned around, I'm like, all right. Once I did it the first time, the second time, I was like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, you come through, strutting and all that.
Right. Let's hit it. So we did that. We walked down halfway. We did the touch, and we walked off, and it was just like that feeling was just so crazy. Like I feel like the claps just kind of like erupted in the whole space. Everybody, I'm like looking around, the girls are like, it's just the expressions and the energy. Even the men that were there were like so supportive. Like it was just like such a fun time being able to see that was also one of the most special things, was being able to be a part of and also witness Kat's vision coming together. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like,
hell of a vision.
I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, you gave me a drawing board right now, like I wouldn't even know.
Bro, like how she puts those joints together is fucking insane, yo. Like can't even begin to weave through that, you know. But
all the background work that she even
work, getting the people facts,
talking to people,
100%.
Not even just the girls, but everybody else on the outside, you know. And tickets sold out very quickly. She had to add standing tickets in
I'm not
for
surprised.
a cheaper price. But it's just so crazy. That's just it's so much support, and I love to see that, because, you know, it's nice to go and buy a swimsuit from, I don't know, Rogue or whatever. But to know the person behind the work, it's so much more better.
Because you're investing in the person.
Yeah,
for sure. Like not the product.
I'd rather invest in someone I know and, you know, and uplift their vision than to just always consistently buy from the bigger guys.
100%.
Yeah. Even like got a friend of mine, Ryan Tuttle from Underdog, also doing his own supplement company. He's a true champ at that. He is just out here just, you know, curating designs for his fitness wear. Okay. He's coming out with, you know, all these supplements. He's doing like all these things on top of his own job. So it's like I would always say there's always individuals around me that like also just like inspire me.
100%.
Because I'm like looking at you and I'm like, how do you do this?
Yeah, right.
You know, but it all comes down to the mind of the entrepreneur and the hustler.
Real shit. No, I just want to, again, congratulate you on the work you did at SV. It was fucking incredible. That shit was out of a fucking movie. Everyone involved on that, super dope. We'll have more people that are involved in that whole spectacle on the podcast. But I do want to thank you so much, Dominique. I think people will, like, who did not know who you were prior to this, will have a whole new just perspective and, just light on you. And it's just, I think people will really enjoy, just your story, for real, honestly, because it's fucking insane. Like I have a lot of respect for you. But this is just the point of the pod where if you want to plug anything or just really want people to find you on social media, or where they can find you next. If you want to give like your Solidcore schedule, go ahead. But thank you so much for coming through, and we appreciate you, yo.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
I really
definitely
appreciate the opportunity.
No doubt.
And no hesitations. Reach out to me if I'm not at home or at the gym. I'm at Solidcore. So
word up.
Yeah, let's work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Listen, we got Dominique Toretto in the building, MIC Podcast, episode 166, where everyone is a master of their own creation. And we're out, bro. Peace.